In only 10 days, the attention of Jewish hoops fans across the country and around the world will focus on Memphis, Tennessee, and the 15th annual Memphis Yeshiva Invitational. 16 teams representing 10 states and Canada will compete this year for the prestigious national title. More than 75,000 viewers will tune in, and more than 1,000 spectators will be on hand. But who will emerge as the 2024 champion? Will the Showtime stylings of the LA Stars withstand the high-octane play of their New York counterparts? Will the young guns from Texas run wild, or will the Lions of the Potomac tame the bunch? Will the boys from the Sunshine State bring the title to their sandy beaches? Or will the crew from the icy north take the title outside of the U.S. for the first time in history? So many questions, so much excitement, and it all begins here. So pull up a chair, sit back, and relax, because the 2024 Memphis Yeshiva Invitational Seating Show starts now.
Charging the lane, up over defenders, it's in! What an amazing shot!
Welcome to the 15th annual Memphis Yeshiva Invitational Seating Show. Players, coaches, friends, and fans from across the country and around the globe are tuning in to see who will be this year's #1 seed and how will the first round matchups shake out. So let's start the excitement without any further delay. The 16th seed in the 2024 Memphis Yeshiva Invitational, from Houston, Texas, the Robert M. Beren Academy Stars. The Stars bring a very young team to Memphis, made up exclusively of underclassmen. Sophomore guard Rafi Miller leads the Stars and is a prolific and talented scorer. Slasher sophomore Jonathan Kluger is an exceptional athlete who can guard any position and get a bucket whenever the team needs it. And while this team is certainly very young, senior Leroy Tabul brings leadership and maturity, having played at the varsity level since his freshman year. Coach Chris Cole is known for his ability to get the most out of his team, and the Stars will certainly be a fun team to watch in this year's event. This year's 15 seed, from Memphis, Tennessee, the Cooper Yeshiva High School Maccabees. The hometown favorite Cooper Macs come off a lackluster 2023-2024 campaign. Add to that the loss of their most dominant player, Yosef Vanderwald, and the Macs could face an uphill battle right out of the gates. But second-year head coach Kobe Pinto has a group that now understands how to play within his system and believes that the Macs are dangerous. Led by all-star guards Jack Kampf and Benny Frieden, who can slice and dice any zone defense, and assassins Jonah Siegel and Daniel Kahane raining threes, the Macs have considerable weapons on the offensive side of the court. And then there is, perhaps, the most dominant big man in the entire field, preseason consensus first-team Jewish Hoops America Player of the Year, Eli the Jiggler Weisvogel. the Jiggler will be a handful for opposing teams and a dominating force in the paint. Though the Macs will have their work cut out for them, this year we expect them to be a real competitor in the Tier 2 bracket. This year's number 14 seed, from Rockville, Maryland, the Charles E. Smith Jewish Day School Lions. The Lions from Rockville return to the Invitational looking to restore the roar. JDS boasts several talented pieces and a real potential for success. But the Lions are very young, with only one senior, and it will take time for the squad to fully rebuild under second-year head coach Ryan Eskel's leadership. JDS brings an exciting, fast-paced style of basketball to Memphis, with quickness at every position. They will push the tempo on both sides of the court, which allows them to hang around in every game. In truth, the Lions may still be a year away from regaining the national prominence they once enjoyed, but it would not surprise anyone to see JDS exceeding expectations and making some noise in the Tier 2 bracket. This year's number 13 seed, from New York, New York, the Marcia Stern Talmudical Academy, MTA Lions. The Yeshiva University High School for Boys returns to Memphis for a second consecutive year, looking to jumpstart their Yeshiva League playoff run. There can be no doubt, last season, under new head coach Ushi Sullivan, the Lions were rebuilding, and it showed. From the 23-24 team, court leaders Kobe Wolk, Danielle Beren, and Rafi Berger are now gone, and one might think that this year could prove even more challenging for the boys from Washington Heights. But the Lions fear no one and come to Memphis ready to play. Led by big man Josh Trehoff and floor general Yishai Nace, MTA looks to disprove the seeding committee by upsetting a few of this year's heavyweights. The X factor for the Lions could be Jake Abenaim, the silky smooth shooting guard that Coach Sullivan picked up from the transfer portal. With the Tier 2 bracket wide open, MTA has the firepower to turn some heads and create some real excitement come Championship Sunday. Coming in at the number 12 seed, from Great Neck, New York, the North Shore Hebrew Academy Lions. Riddled by injuries, North Shore got off to a slow start last season, but they came on strong, finishing as the Jewish Hoops America number 5 ranked team in the nation. That team was 11 seniors deep and included all-stars Ben Abizadeh, Jonah Carmeli, and Jordan Zarka. Shooting guard Eli Bechor is the only returning starter from that stellar squad. This year, Coach Shalom Bubayev brings what is virtually a new team to Memphis. In addition to team leader Bechor, rising senior big man Phil Cohn and court general Noah Ganjian lead this young but dynamic Lion team. The X factor for the Lions will be Daniel Namberg and JV All-Star Charlie Sassoon. Namberg comes off a season in which he was forced to sit due to injury. He is cleared to play this season, but only game minutes will prove if he is ready to make a major contribution. And while Sassoon was a standout at the JV level, we question whether he can bring that magic to a national varsity event right at the beginning of the season. North Shore is well coached and very experienced. We expect them to go deep in the Tier 2 bracket. With the 11 seed in the 2024 Memphis Yeshiva Invitational, from Davie, Florida, the Posnack Jewish Day School Rams. The boys from Davie returned to Memphis, having completed another excellent season, finishing as the Jewish Hoops America number 13 team in the nation. In the past 3 years, the Rams have twice reached the Tier 2 championship, beating the hometown Cooper Max in 2017 and losing to in-state rival the Sheikh Hillel of North Miami Beach Lions in 2019. This may very well be the year that Posnack returns to the Tier 2 championship game yet again. The 2024 Rams are young and inexperienced. We fear that they may not peak until mid-season when they've had some time to gel. But don't ever count the Rams out. Coach Kiffin's squad is always dangerous. They work hard from the tip-off to the final buzzer and are quick to the ball on both sides of the court. The Rams are one of those teams that opposing coaches would rather never play, and the Rams love that rep. We expect Posnack to make some serious noise in the Tier 2 bracket. The number 10 seed from Lawrence, New York, the Hebrew Academy of the Five Towns and Rockaway, HAFTR Hawks. For Yeshiva League coaching legend Joey Honig, last season was probably not a typical HAFTR run. They finished 18-18 and without any major championship appearances. But this year's squad is revamped, returning 3 players from last year, Ness Salem, Noah Gelb, and Abi Mosseri, and bringing up a class of talented juniors. Led by forward Jake Salem and big man Daniel Namberg, the Hawks know how to compete and would be a hard out for any team in the field. While HAFTR's youth is likely what caused them to slip to the number 10 spot, don't sleep on the Hawks. We feel confident that they will be highly competitive and will likely be playing for a Tier 2 championship. Rounding out this year's projected Tier 2 bracket, with the number 9 seed in the 2024 Memphis Yeshiva Invitational, from Brookline, Massachusetts, the Maimonides MCats. The 2023 Tier 2 champion MCats returned to Memphis after completing a stellar season, finishing 26-5 and the number 12 ranked team in the nation. Hall of Fame coach Ed Gelb was named Jewish Hoops America Coach of the Year, and 6'5" center Nate Weinstock was named an All-American honorable mention. But this year's MCats are without all 5 of last year's starters, and will have to rely on returning players Zach Gelb and Danny Masagi to carry the load as team leaders. Perhaps a deep run for Maimo may rest on the play of newcomers JJ Rapolino, who transferred from Beren Academy, Daniel Zilber, who returns from a serious injury that kept him out most of last season, and JV standouts Yakir Samuels and Ariel Jessalon. With talent at every position and Coach Gelb at the helm, the MCats should be the favorite in the Tier 2 bracket. Which brings us now to the projected Tier 1 bracket. With this year's number 8 seed, from Boca Raton, Florida, the Katz Yeshiva High School Storm. In a rematch of last year's Tier 2 championship, the Storm get a chance to avenge the overtime loss to Maimonides and punch their ticket to the Tier 1 bracket. The Storm finished last season 17-9 and showed their best stuff at the end of the season when they beat YULA, Shalhevet, and Valley Torah. Despite having lost 3 of their 5 starters, the Storm return senior guard and leading scorer Chaim El-Makiz, who averaged more than 17 points per game, and the leading scorer from last year's JV team, Ilan Adias. Add to those two phenom sophomores 6'3" Nir Ovaknin and 6'3" Noah Seplowitz, and the Storm have scoring weapons at every position. But it's not all offense for Katz. Led by team captain Jacob Chick, the Storm are relentless on defense and wear teams down with constant pressure and tenacity. Brothers and coaches Ellie and Gaby Barretts believe this may be the year that Katz shakes up the national standings, and they welcome the opportunity. This year's number 7 seed, from Montreal, Quebec, the Hebrew Academy of Montreal Heat. Oh, Canada! His Majesty has ruled. The Heat are coming to Memphis and are bringing home some hardware. Coming off a great run in last year's Sarachek tournament, Coach Levy brings back the entire team, 1 year older, 1 year more experienced, and 1 year hungrier to be recognized as a national powerhouse. Senior guard Yaakov Ohayan and junior forward Simon Alul each average 20-plus points per game and can score from almost anywhere. But the Heat are far from two-dimensional. Isaac Hans offers freak-like athleticism, and big man Zach Levy is formidable in the paint. The Heat are known for their up-tempo transition game and relentless man-to-man defense. The Hebrew Academy's roster is deep and brings experience and talent off the bench. They are motivated to prove something on the biggest stage and could potentially be this year's Cinderella story. This year's 6th seed, from Brooklyn, New York, the Magen David Yeshiva Warriors. Invitational favorites and 2-time invitational champions, Magen David Yeshiva returned to Memphis looking to avenge last year's championship game loss to crosstown rival Flatbush. Coming off another historic season, the Warriors finished 38-3, runner-ups in Memphis and Sarachek, and the number 2 ranked team in the nation. The odds makers' favorite in almost every game, Magen David is led by coach Ike Dweck, one of the nation's most prolific Jewish high school coaches. And while this year's team is once again a national powerhouse, the road to Championship Sunday may be a little bit more difficult in 2024. Gone are All-Americans Marks Madar and Moses Smecki, and the Warriors' rotation filled with seniors. But anyone who looks past Magen is destined to be a footnote in their next championship run. The Warriors have one of the best scorers in the entire tournament, Josh Shabbat, and last year's finals MVP and lead playmaker, Phil Scher. The Warriors smother opponents with full court pressure and can score quickly and in bunches. Magen David comes to Memphis with one goal in mind, its 3rd invitational title. All we can say is opponents, beware. The number 5 seed in the 2024 Memphis Yeshiva Invitational. From Valley Village, California, the Valley Torah Wolfpack. Valley Torah comes off another incredible season, finishing 24-8, and as the number 10 team in the nation. The Wolfpack returned 8 players, 4 of whom started at some point last season. And while it's very hard replacing first-team All-American Ethan List and All-American honorable mention Gabriel Rabibo, veteran leaders Josh Masika, Benny Maggs, Mayor Dan, and Emmett Victor are confident that the team won't miss a step. Valley Torah is far more balanced this year, with different weapons at different positions. But keep an eye on senior Yaron Mahagarafati, a silky smooth guard who has been lighting it up. With Ben Riss back from injury, Coach Schwartzberg is confident that his depth and experience will make the Wolfpack competitive in every game. The Wolfpack's 2017 national trophy is getting a bit lonely in Valley Village. Perhaps the team will bring back another one this year to help keep it company after Championship Sunday. And now we reach the Final Four. This year's number 4 seed, from Ocean, New Jersey, the Hillel Yeshiva High School Heat. The boys from Deal returned to Memphis for the 5th time, perhaps with the most dangerous Heat team ever. Hillel can flat out play. They are quick to the ball, can shoot the lights out, and defend full court all game. The Heat are led by superstar guard Eli Braha, unquestionably one of the top guards in the nation. But they are far from one-dimensional. 6'3" power forward Bobby Segura is a beast, and if the ball happens to bounce the other way, 6'2" Abe Tobias is there to snag it. Everyone on this roster can contribute, making Hillel scary good. Hillel will have some tough teams in the early rounds, but we see them in the Tier 1 Final Four come Saturday night. The number 3 seed in the 2024 Memphis Yeshiva Invitational. From Teaneck, New Jersey, the Torah Academy of Beren County, TABC Storm. Coming off a 17-6 regular season, the Storm ran through the Sarachek tournament, beating Flatbush, Shalhevet, and Berman en route to a third-place finish and a number 6 national ranking. But this year may prove to be even more historic. The Storm returns the core of last year's team, led by dominant 6'3" big man Eyal Kinderlehrer and playmaker Yona Mandel. Coach Oz has TABC playing great basketball, moving the ball on offense and lockdown man-to-man defense. TABC is a preseason favorite for the Yeshiva League Championship. But with that talent comes high expectations. TABC now finds itself at the top of the bracket, playing against championship-level programs. Are they ready? Only time will tell. But if they can put it together, they could be marching all the way to Championship Sunday and retaking the title they won in the first ever invitational event. And now we come to the final two, the projected national championship game. With this year's number 2 seed, from Woodmere, New York, the DRS Wildcats. The Wildcats might be the most interesting team in this year's event. Coming off of a mediocre 18-12 season in 23-24, they came into this season as the preseason number 1 in the Yeshiva League. Last week, they won the Magen David preseason tournament, beating Flatbush, Magen David, Hillel, and SAR. The Wildcats are a special team with perhaps one of the most talented players in the Yeshiva League, Joe Aaron. Aaron is a superstar guard who can play inside and out, can stop on a dime for a jumper, and take it to the rack for a two-handed throwdown. But DRS is far more than just Aaron. Gaby Spodek, Tzvi Saidi, and Avi Slemnicki are floor leaders who general the up-tempo offense and matchup zone defense. If they can get into the open floor and play their style of ball, DRS will be a nightmare for opposing teams. Second-year coach Moshe Cohen brings more than a decade of coaching experience and has led some of the top programs in the Yeshiva League. It's been almost 10 years since DRS last won in Memphis, but if they play as they can, make some room in that trophy case back on Ibsen Street in Woodmere. And that brings us to this year's overall number 1 seed. From Los Angeles, California, the Yeshiva University of Los Angeles, YULA Panthers. YULA returns the core of what was one of the most elite teams in the country last year. The Panthers ended the season with an overtime win over Magen David in the Sarachek tournament and the consensus number 1 ranking in the nation. And now, they look to pick up in Memphis exactly where they left off. The Panthers are led by preseason National Player of the Year nominee Phenom guard Alex Gabai, and joined by elite players like Yoni Hollander and Jaden Azariel, and a roster full of experienced seniors. Coach Mike Pollock is joined by legendary players, now coaches Eli Hammy, and Ariel Sokol, and has the Panthers playing in his system with confidence and precision. Despite having not played in Memphis since 2018, YULA remains the winningest program in invitational history, having won the title in 2010, 2011, and again in 2013. YULA would love to hang a new banner in their new gym and fill that trophy case with a 4th national title. The Panthers are the team to beat this year as they look to bring the prestigious Memphis Invitational title back to La La Land. With the seeding now released, log on to the Invitational website at www.memphisinvitational.com to view the first day game schedule. While there, make sure to complete your bracket in the 2024 Bracket Challenge. With only 10 days until tip-off, we look forward to seeing you all in Memphis very soon.